Welcome to the Wind Up with Will, everyone. I'm your host, Will, here, and today we're going to be talking about the NFC and AFC Championship games. It's championship weekend. The winners today will face off in Super Bowl 60. So I am super excited for the games today, and without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the games. Well, I guess we also need to review last week's games. So how we got to the conference championship game. So last week in the divisional round, the Broncos beat the Bills 33-30 in overtime. It was a controversial game because the game in overtime, when the Bills, Josh Allen threw pass down the field, Brandon Cooks catches it or appears to catch it, and the defender has his hands around the ball as well. They fall to the ground. Brandon Cooks hits the ground first. Looks like he has control of the ball. And the defender has his hands also on the ball and then flips over. And the ball comes into the defender's hands, and they rule it they end up ruling it an interception. They review it and call it an interception. And to me, it's very confusing still on what a catch is in the NFL. It was very controversial. There's a lot of people saying it should be a catch. I kind of feel the same way as well, because if they both catch it simultaneously and go to the ground, the tie goes to the receiver. I'm pretty sure that that's how the rule is, that the receiver gets the tie. Well, they both went to the ground, and then the ball came out as the defender rolled over top of the offensive player who was already on the ground. To me, I think it probably ought to be a catch. But I understand somewhat the argument for it. I think they said he didn't have full control, but it looks like he has full control of the ball. It doesn't look like the ball starts to come out until he's hit the ground already, which at that point you would say he's down. And some people on the internet were arguing it should have been called an incomplete pass, which I don't understand the logic in that at all, because the ball never touched the ground. The receiver had control of the ball, it looked like, headed to the ground. The defender had his hands on the ball. The defender flips over the offensive player. The ball comes out. The defender has control of it, never touches the ground. I don't understand the argument at all that some people are saying it should be an incomplete pass. That doesn't make any sense. It's either a catch or it's an interception. And to me, by the receiver being down and having control of the ball, or what at least appears to be control of the ball, or simultaneously control with the defender, I think it ought to be a catch, and the wide receiver should have been down. But I somewhat understand the argument of, well, the defender still has control of the ball. He flips over and the ball comes out and doesn't survive the ground. But there needs to be, and I know when you slow it down, it makes it look like it's a catch. But in real time, it's not really slow of him going, like he hits the ground, the defender flips over and the ball comes out. It's like that. And so part of me understands that, but it's either way, it was going to be controversial. But also on the same drive, when the Bills started with the ball, Josh Allen was standing in the end zone, and his offensive line held a Broncos defender in the end zone while Allen was in the end zone. It should have been a safety, and that should have ended the game there. But it didn't. And then the Broncos end up getting the ball. They go down the field. They end up winning a game on a field goal. Well, Bo Nix, breaks his ankle, essentially, and has to have season-ending ankle surgery, and that would have been avoided if they called a safety on the Bills earlier. So there's controversy kind of both ways in this game, but this game is going to forever be remembered for that catch or interception play there, and that's just one of those things where I think you either need to look at the rules more, or I don't know what needs to be done to fix that. But to me, most people watching it said that they think it's a catch. And to me, that's kind of where I am. I would say I understand the argument for the defender, but to me it looks like it's a catch when they both simultaneously have the ball and the offensive player hits the ground. He's down. The defender then flips over him and rips the ball out. I would say the offensive player survived the ground. It wasn't until he's on the ground that the defensive player ripped the ball out. So I tend to think that it ought to have been a catch, but I don't know. Gene Steratore was saying that it was a good call. I don't know if I agree. I don't think I agree with him on that. I think at the very least it's a very gray call of like it can maybe go either way, but it's either way someone's going to be mad. But it was a great game, and the Broncos came in on top. But unfortunately, their quarterback had season-ending ankle surgery and is now out for the conference championship game, which very much hurts the Broncos. But they're still the one seed, so they have home field advantage. The other one seed, the Seattle Seahawks, took on the San Francisco 49ers and beat them 41-6. This game was not close. They ran them over. The Seahawks look like they're the best team in the NFL with that game. They just the 49ers could do nothing. Like it was just a massacre. Just go over some of the stats from that game. Sam Darnold only needed 124 pass yards. He was 12 of 17 for one touchdown. Kenneth Walker ran for 116 yards. Brock Purdy was 15 of 27 for the 49ers with one interception, and he was their leading rusher with 37 yards. So Seattle's defense just shut them down, and it led to Seattle winning the game 41-6 to move on to the NFC Championship game and get to host it. The other games, the Patriots-Texans. The Patriots were the 2 seed. They beat the Texans 28-16. This game stayed relatively close for a while, but this game is marred by turnovers. There was a ton of turnovers in this game. C.J. Stroud had 4 interceptions in this game. He was 20 of 47 for one touchdown and 4 interceptions. He played horrible, and if he played better, maybe the Texans win this game. He just did not play well at all. He didn't lose a fumble, but Woody Marks for the Texans lost a fumble. One of their running back. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But they had 5 total turnovers in this game. You're not going to win the football game if you have 5 total turnovers, unless the other team has like 6 or 7. Like, it's just not. And the fact that they stayed close in this game shows you that the Patriots maybe aren't as good as some people think they are. They've had a very easy schedule throughout the year. I still think the Patriots are pretty good, and I like Mike Vrabel as their head coach. Drake May has been a good quarterback. But you have to wonder if they struggled to beat the Texans, who had 5 turnovers, and they only beat them by 12, and that's with scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter. This was a 21-16 game at one point, and that Patriots scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to make it a 12-point game. But it makes you wonder: can the Patriots, if Bo Nix is healthy, maybe the Patriots, maybe not, maybe they won't do as well against the Broncos. But that's here and there, neither here nor there, because Bo Nix isn't starting, but it makes you wonder, can the Patriots live up to expectations? Can they clean it up? Can they play better going forward? And then the other divisional round game, the Rams won on the road in Chicago 20-17 in overtime. The highlights of this game are crazy. With 18 seconds left on, I believe, was it 4th down? I kind of think it was 4th down. I'm gonna double check that. Was this 4th down? Yeah, it was 4th and 4 from the Rams 14. Caleb Williams just had one of the all-time plays of running around, scrambling, extending the play, and throwing to Cole Kmet in the end zone for the touchdown to tie the game and force overtime with 18 seconds left. Goes into overtime. The Rams punt. Then Caleb Williams throws an interception in overtime, and the Rams kick a field goal to win the game 20-17 and go to the NFC title game against the Seattle Seahawks. So far, my predictions have ended up right of who is in the NFC and AFC Championship games. I don't know if my picks for the Super Bowl will be right. Before the postseason, I said it would be the Rams, Broncos in the Super Bowl and that the Rams would win. But with Bo Nix being out, it throws that into question. And the Seahawks just thumping of the 49ers kind of throws that into question too. Can the Rams win in Seattle? They've played them close twice and won one of them in LA. But we're going to get started with the predictions here. The Broncos are a 3.5-point underdog at home. The Patriots are favored by 3.5 over the Broncos. On the road, ESPN matchup predictor gives the Patriots a 58.8% chance to win. And part of me has got to agree with that and think that they are probably the better team having their starting quarterback. Jared Stidham is going to be the starting quarterback for the Broncos. in today's AFC Championship game, and he only has 4 career starts. But Sean Payton has, said that he's confident in him. The team is behind him. They're playing at home. The Broncos have a really good defense. I think if this turns into a defensive game, the Broncos have a chance, knowing that the Patriots didn't run over the Texans when they had 5 turnovers. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a lot closer and a lot more interesting than some people think. I initially earlier in the week said I think the Patriots would win. I've changed my mind now. I think the Broncos might pull out a victory at home in a very defensive slugfest. Give me the Broncos 20-17 at home to go to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Give me the Broncos. I think they win. I think they win against all odds and go to the Super Bowl. So I think they win the AFC Championship game. In the NFC Championship game, the Seahawks are a 2.5-point favorite over the Rams at home. I think this game will be phenomenal. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be close. Both these teams are good. They've got good defenses. Their offenses are great. Sam Darnold has just had a renaissance of a career the last 2 years where he's just turned his career around. And Matthew Stafford is playing like an MVP this year. This I think the experience from Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay are going to carry a little more in this kind of big environment. This is the biggest game Sam Darnold's ever played in. Give me the Rams to win on the road in a close one. We'll say 27. We'll make it interesting. We'll say 27-26. Let's say they win by 1 point. I think the Rams win and go back to the Super Bowl and face the Broncos, who I had picked before the postseason started. You can go back and watch that video and see that if you want. Maybe I'll put the link in the description for that. And I think the Rams, if they're in the Super Bowl against the Broncos, I think their team is just too good for the Broncos defense to handle and a backup quarterback. Give me the Rams to win in the Super Bowl over the Broncos. That's my prediction for the AFC and NFC title games and the Super Bowl. Let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you think is going to win the AFC and NFC title games today? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Let me know down below whether you think I'm right or I'm wrong, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.